Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is Inside the Kettle podcast. I can't overstate this, we've got the legend, one of the greats, the fifth greatest Bulldog player in the last 100 years. But on this podcast, ladies and gentlemen, he is the greatest. He's number one. Dougie Hawkins, welcome to the podcast, Dougie.
Oh, good on you, mate. That is a magnificent, Matty. How are you, Matty? That is awesome. A magnificent introduction, Paul.
Matt, what's it feel like, mate? And also, I mean, everyone's got their view, but Matty and I, you're number one player, as far as not arguably for us. But what's it feel like to be at a club of 1,053 players with a 100-year history, and to get called up as the fifth greatest player in that time? I mean, that's not even, you wouldn't even dream about that. When you played your first game, could you believe that if someone pulled you inside? Listen, mate, would you believe it?
No, you wouldn't, Paul. Matty, you actually wouldn't. Going back now to 78, that's 47 years ago. And if you said to me back then that I'd be the fifth best player in the club's 100-year history or whatever it may be, it was 100 years, that's right. So, mate, it's a great honour. I must admit, Monday night, I got a little bit emotional towards the end of my first little chat. Particularly when I was thinking about my late mum. My mum was my biggest fan, and I love mum, and mum's been gone now 19 years, so I got a bit emotional, Matty, Paul. We're talking about me and mum, Thelma. So that was fantastic, and then to have Gary Dempsey come up, like I used to watch Demps. I used to watch him play. And we may remember he was severely burned, wasn't he? In I think it was Lara. It might have been early 70s, and then to have Demps stagger up. His knees ain't real flash at the moment, and he stood there, and I've always remembered Demps to be about 6'6", and then the Bont, he rocked up and he was bigger, and he rucked rows. He was taller than Demps, and Demps was one of the best ruckmen, I believe, going around for a long, long time. And the Bont rocks up and he gives me a hug, and he's about a foot taller than me. And he was bigger than Demps. So, guys, it was just fantastic. Teddy Whittenwell, I think they got it right. It's very hard to compare, modern day footy to Teddy's day, 50s, 60s, 70s. I just want to say about Marcus Bontempelli, boys, he's an absolutely gentleman. He's a fantastic boy. He's the guy that you would want your daughter to go out with. I had a chat to him briefly there before we went up on the stage. He kept asking about me and this and that, and mate, he's just a gentleman. Mate, he's a fantastic bloke, and arguably, as I said on the night Monday, he's a modern day Ted Whitten. That's what I called him, modern day Ted Whitten. So that doesn't get any bigger than that, does it? If I call him modern day Ted Whitten. So,
Dougie, I was talking to Matty, and I mean, you're talking about icons there, aren't you? You're talking about Teddy, but I think from the selection committee point of view and the different points of view that Matty was referring to on the panel, to me, you're iconic. And I wouldn't necessarily say that's a word you don't give to anybody. And that's a whole lot of stuff, isn't it? Spiritual, it's about where you come from. You're from that area. You grew up. You talked about your lovely mum before. You're an iconic person and an incredible footballer. So I think out of that top five, there's only two, maybe, like you said, maybe Bont's going to elevate it to iconic, but I think there's only two iconic people in that top five, Matty. That's in my opinion.
Yeah, it's amazing, Paul, Matty, to be up there with EJ, both from Braybrook, in the top five. Teddy from Braybrook, Dougie from Braybrook. Mate, it was absolutely sensational, and I really mean that. I was a little bit shocked. I'm a big Templeton fan. I reckon Calvin Templeton's a superstar. And for him not to be in that five, then again, who goes out? Dougie Hawkins goes out.
You're not going out, Dougie. No,
I'm not going to go out. But, yeah, I mean, I'm a huge Calvin Templeton fan. You had a 4-year patch where you couldn't beat him one-on-one. And it was just disappointing a little bit, boys, that Granty wasn't there.
Yeah.
I know, Matty, you might be able to touch on this. He's had some issues, Paul, with the club. I was disappointed for Chris and his family not to be there. I think his daughter was in the room. I think it's Izzy. I would have loved to have seen Granny sitting there with me, the Bont, and Demps. I'm disappointed with that, and I'm disappointed for Chris.
It's a huge event to miss, isn't it? Like, that's not just a B&F night. It's not just a jumper presentation. That's a once-in-a-100-year event. Dougie, could you give us a little bit of background about what's going on or what Chris is feeling from your understanding?
I actually texted him, Paul. Matty, I texted Granny on Monday night when I got home. He come back to me and he was fantastic. We had a good little brief texting thing together. And I just congratulated him and I said, mate, don't forget I'm the bloke who recruited you. I'm the one that saw you down at Dalesford, mate, and Chuka Merrington, the late Gary Merrington, said, Hawk, we got him hidden. We're going to get him at 105. I said, what? I said, mate, he'll go about 3 or 4. He won't go 105. You know, and Matty, you guys know this, Paul. I had my ups and downs with the footy club over my 17-year period. I had some disputes and some problems with administration and stuff like that. So I sort of understand. I understand what Granny's going through. But I just really hope that for him, that he gets back on track and becomes that great Bulldog at number 3. I called him the Rolls Royce, Granny, and he was, you know. And isn't it amazing? Here I am. I saw him down at Bacchus Marsh in a prelim final. The next time I saw him playing, he was standing next to me in the goal square. When we're going to merge with Fitzroy in 1990, we were all gone. Terry Wheeler took over. And there's a 7-year-old Chris Grant standing in the goal square with me against St Kilda. Can you believe that? Can you actually believe that? That's amazing.
But as you said, Dougie, let's hope that, you know, time heals all wounds. Let's hope that he marches back into the club at some point in time and enjoys a game and catches up with some great friends. And but we don't want to, you know, it's an unfortunate situation, but we don't know what's going on in the background. So we'll move on from that. But it sounded like a great night, Dougie, in the end.
Yep, great night, Paul. Great night, Matty. And you know, again, to be in that room with some of the greats.
Can I ask you one question about Bont? So, following the celebration, Bont finally gets signed. What does that mean to the club? How delighted should supporters be with that signature?
Oh, you'd be wrapped, Matty. Or you'd be absolutely stoked. He's a ripper. He's an absolute ripper and great captain. You know, at some stage you'll go past Teddy. Some stage there'll be something there which will be picked down the track. He's only 29, isn't he? 28 or 29.
But I can tell you something, Dougie and Matty, that decision for lesser pay and not going off to Collingwood, I think there was a little joke where he pulls out a Collingwood jumper out of a box or something I saw. He will make millions and millions from being the legend at the Bulldogs Football Club. And I mean, that's not about, I'm not suggesting it's all about money, but his life and well-being and wealth, the investment he puts into that club and staying with that club will give him so much happiness and satisfaction and notoriety and importance far beyond an extra 800,000 or whatever it might be. Would you agree on that?
Yeah, no doubt, Paul. And it's about loyalty. He's a very loyal boy, and he showed a lot of loyalty. He could have went somewhere else a couple of years ago, and he stayed a Bulldog. And you're right, Paul. You're going to get a lot of endorsements on the side for him outside of his football contract. And you're right, Paul. He's going to make millions. He's going to make millions for being a loyal Bulldog. And, you know, possibly, who knows, he might be the game's record holder, take over the great Brad Johnson. Who knows?
Wow. Now, speaking of footy, boys, 5 games to go. Oh, my gosh. I feel that we've played some incredible footy this year. You know, you look at the statistics and, you know, we're 1-8 against the top 8 teams. We're going to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
But you know what? We've got 5 games to win. We've got the mountain to climb. Can we do it, boys?
Hey, Matty, is Liam Jones in for the Essendon game?
No, he's been replaced by Buslinger.
Was that an injury, Dougie, Matty, wasn't it? Was that injury? It doesn't have omitted, I don't think, has it?
Yeah, he's been omitted. He's been
omitted,
dropped along with Davidson. Yep.
I'm not sure about that.
Yeah,
I'm not sure about that. Is he? If that's the case, he won't play again this year. He'll be finished.
I reckon that the writing's on the wall there because he's they've been trying to have a look at his GPS data, and since he's had his soft tissue injuries, I'm led to believe that his speed's really diminished, and they've been really concerned about that. So he's been doing a lot of running and some sprint work to try and build that load, but he's just not up to the levels that he was previously, and I think he's vulnerable. So this might be, sadly, the junction time where there's a changing of the guard. And we know Bustling has been an apprentice for a long time. A lot of people have been really excited to see him come, but will equally be really sad to see, if we've seen the end of Liam.
Yeah, is Booker's in, Paul? Is Booker...
No, Buku's not here, mate. He's on the emergency. But, I've bumped into a couple of fans during the week, and, one in particular wanted to raise... what's going on with Buku, what's going on with Buzzling. And Buzzling has been solved. He's in. I feel the club's been a bit late on that. I don't know about what you think, Dougie. I mean, he's picked at number 14. I'm a little critical around. You bring him in now, it's a bit late. You're expecting him. You played him early in the year. You bring him in now when Jones is not an option. So you put your eggs into Jonesy, which is unfortunate. I mean, a lot of people felt very secure last week when he was selected that he was in the team, particularly against a good team in Brisbane. You bring Buslinger, I'm happy he's in, but it's probably not enough time for him to really get to a point where he's going to be a really important backman in this team to take the team forward into the final. So I think the club has made some poor decision. They pick up a guy at 14 2.5 years ago, and he's playing his 5th game or something, or whatever it is that he's playing. So what is it?
Third game.
Third. He's playing his 3rd game of football in a really important part of the year. But I'm happy he's in. I'm pleased, and I know a lot of people are pleased. And I hope that he understands the gravity of the situation and plays out of his socks. It's nice to see him there. It's nice to see a young name there, and he's got surrounded by a solid backline where I think O'Donnell will play a really good role in supporting him. Clearly, Lobby. There's a lot of experience in that back line. So, and he's playing in a game that perhaps I think I can see him letting himself go and playing some really good footy, Matty. So Matty and Dougie, are we going to keep with Busling, or is that the view? Do you think they'll just persevere with him over the next
He'll stay
5 weeks?
Yeah, he'll stay,
5 weeks,
mate,
and leading into finals.
Just let him play. Let him play now. Just let him play.
Let him play, and you know what? He's had almost 3 years as an apprenticeship in the VFL, so he's as ready as a player can be to come in and do a job. And if you remember, Zane Cordy played, I think it was only his 9th or 10th game in the grand final in 2016. So he was another one that sort of, we hadn't played a lot of footy, but he'd played a fair bit of reserves footy at that point. So, don't discount the growth and the progress and the investment they've put in at state level to get him hopefully ready, and he's got some really experienced players around him in JJ to give that guidance, and as Bobby.
Is JJ in, Matty? Is JJ in?
Yeah, JJ's in. Yep.
Matty, how's and I've got JJ written down here as one of the players I want to discuss. How's he travelling? I feel he's not really he's not really bobbing his head up to talk. He's not doing anything poorly. But I don't feel like he's doing anything that's a JJ type of branding that he's like. What do you guys feel about how he's progressing? Is he just doing his job?
Well, Paul, I think too, Matty, that when you've got Bailey Dale running off and running down the ground, can you afford to have 2 mad running half-backers? You probably can, but I think JJ's been that half-back flanker who normally loves to run down the ground. He's been staying at home a bit because Bailey Dale, he's the bloke that runs down the ground, uses the ball very, very well. He gets a stack of the footy. So I just think that it's been a little bit hard for JJ. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And look, you know what? Hopefully I think he's had about 3 games back now since his injury. So perhaps he's got those games under his belt and he's ready to sort of take it up a notch as we sort of get to the business end of the season. That's what I'm hoping for. We love to see him dash, and his slingshot game is his one wood, isn't it? So seeing him and Fraser and Bailey Dale and Bramble hopefully sort of dashing off the half back line, that seems to be the template that we're sort of going for. So Paul's interested in Riley Garcia and how you see his progress.
I like the kid. I like the way he goes about his footy. He's a tough kid. He goes hard. He attacks the footy. He's got a few tricks. He's not just one dimension where he's just hard and tough. He's got a few tricks. I think he can play a little bit. I don't mind him, Garcia. He's in, isn't he? Is he playing?
Yeah.
Yeah, leave him in. I like him. I just he brings that bit of hardness to what Libba brings.
I've been Matty, you're a big fan of Garcia, and when we talk about Treloar being out and Weightman and those, I think we missed Treloar a lot. I thought Treloar's presence against Brisbane Lions, for example, on the weekend, his decision making could have made a bit of a difference. Because what you're looking at there with the rise of Sanders and Fraser, but they're still young and they're still learning.
My boy in the forward pocket's been very good.
Riley West.
Oh, has he been terrific?
Isn't he owning it? He is when he's having some quiet time, Dougie, he just says, "No, I'm taking control of this situation." He'll push him, he'll break them open.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, he's been a beast, hasn't he? And he takes his opportunities. I think that was one of the sort of concerns you had at the start of the season, Doug. You said he needs to nail those goals when he gets it, and he's been incredibly accurate. And his hands are like oak, aren't they? Like he can, his size. Gee, he can take a grab, a contested mark.
Yeah, with the boy Weightman out, it's really opened up, hasn't it, for him? I reckon with Cody Weightman out with his knee, it really has opened it up for Riley West. And I actually spoke to young Weightman the other day, boys.
Yes.
And he sounded pretty positive. Yeah, we're doing a few shows together. We're doing a few speaking engagements together. He's a terrific young kid, young Weightman, fantastic boy, Cody Weightman. And he said, "Hawk, I think I might be all right getting this knee back on board." So I think it'll be probably obviously next year, Matty, Paul. But there was sort of talk that he may not get back, But it just sounds like it might be positive. You reckon we can fit Sack Butters in that side somewhere?
Matty, what's the news on that? Is that
Can we spot him in there somewhere?
Is that?
Yeah, that seems like a serious possibility. The whispers have been around for a long time. Dougie's given the big thumbs up. He ought to know. He's a Darley boy, Spencer Suburbs boy. Doug, you've probably got some inside intel there. So how good would that be?
Oh, matey, Paul, he's a terrific kid. Family mad Bulldogs. He's just built a very nice property here in Darley. Kenny Hinkley loves Kenny, but Kenny's gone. Loves Del Pepper. What's the bloke? Pepper Power. He's out for 12 months. Yeah, he's out for 12 months with his knee. I'd be shocked if he's not. He's going to come to Melbourne. He'll be coming to the Bulldogs.
Dougie, has he got the Bulldogs pedigree?
Yes, he has. He's got that little bit of chipping around, he's got a lot of aggression and he's got a lot of class, a lot of quality. You know that, Paul. You know that he's a class act, and you imagine him going into midfield with the Bont and Libba and Richards and that. You're kidding, aren't you?
Oh,
be magnificent.
Well, Bont said during the week how he could imagine being a teammate of Butters, and Bevo said he doesn't mind if players reach out. He won't do it himself, but he doesn't mind it. So Dougie, I reckon you've got his number. It's somewhere in your phone. I reckon Bevo's almost given you the all clear to reach out to Butters and get him across the line.
He is tough too. I like him. He loves to agitate. He's tough. He's got all the qualities to be a Bulldogs player. No doubt about it. Is it, 100%. Guys? Can I change the subject quickly? Buku, Matty? Why isn't he getting a game? What's keeping him out of the team? What's the balance there that you feel is keeping him? Because again, he's got a lot of fans.
Yep. So my understanding is that, the match committee have toiled with the idea of what's our formula for moving into the finals? Do we play a 3 tall forward line or a 2 tall forward line? And for much of the season, we've had like Darcy who was out. So we had two talls, Buku and Norton were paired. And once the three have come together, I think they've made a decision that, our preferred option is just the dual setup. So Buku sadly is, third in that lineup. He's performing really well at VFL level. While he was in the team, he did a terrific job. So I think he's just lying in wait. It's just an unfortunate structural situation. And as supporters, we've just got to accept that, whilst he's not out of favour, it's just it's a circumstantial thing. And sometimes good players miss out. So Buku will hang in there, and if his opportunity comes up, we know he can get the job done.
Because it seems to me probably if you're talking about both ends of the ground, Matty, O'Donnell's probably keeping him out down the other end in a way. And in the forward line, who's keeping him out in the forward line, do you feel?
Well, it's Darcy and Norton. They're the two talls. He's a third tall, and they've said, you know what, maybe we have a hybrid player who can sort of play sort of more of a zippy role, whereas, I guess Buku is just sort of a mark option. So, they're trialing players like Poulter, who's sort of tall. Maybe that won't work for the long term. It's to be seen. He's got some tricks as well. So, but we're more likely to play that sort of short, nimble, structured setup. Hence McNeil, West, Vandermeer, and those resting midfielders in Sanders and Kennedy who play the high forward role. So it looks like that's the circumstance. Harms is the other one who will come back in at some point.
But like you said, Matty,
we need to be careful, Paul. Sorry, go on, mate. We need to be careful there, Paul, Matty. We don't lose him. Booker, we don't lose him.
Yep.
We'll be very, very careful we don't lose him because they'll be chasing him. The boys will be on him. Bevo will be on him, but we don't want to lose him.
Agreed. Yep. Yeah, it's a fine line, isn't it? How do you sort of balance the, keeping the players, respected and feel that, you're valued here and we want you in the team, but, balancing that with the structure that wins us a premiership.
And you've got to have the depth, Matty. You've got to have the depth in the team. So if something goes wrong, someone goes down, you've got an excellent player to come in, just as you've got an informed Buslinger coming in at the moment. Hopefully he'll remain there. Dougie, you could just go back a little while back. When you were talking about the back line and you think it's a weakness area, can you unpack why you think our back line is struggling? I mean, that's the general consensus.
Yeah, I think Lob's been really good. I think Lob's been good in a role where he's been able to play a little bit off his man. The other night he got found out when he had to play on a monster, had to play deep, and had to play one-on-one footy, and he struggled with that because I think he's not a natural defender. I think he's a forward, become a pretty good, he's played a pretty good role down there, and that role is where he can play off a bloke and not be caught back deep. It worries me. Jones now looks like he's done. The kid Bustling has played, I think you said 3 games, Matty, or 2 games, whatever it is.
His third, yeah. Yep.
Donald, I reckon, is getting better each week. He's just continually to improve. And then you got that half back line of runners in Bailey Dale and JJ.
And Bramble.
And Bramble, yeah, number 29. He's not a bad player, Paul, Bramble.
Hey,
where's Duray? Where's Duray, Paul? Where's he gone?
I think we've seen the last of him, Matty. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
He's slowed down, hasn't he? I think Mother Time's starting to catch him. He's a fantastic reader of the footy. But how long can you do that? I guess so. Yeah. Sadly, I think we may have seen the back end, unless there's a really specific role that we see for him.
Matty, Dougie, I was talking to Matty about an article that came out during the week called, I think it's called "The Guy Who Loves Sport." I don't know how wide he's appreciated or his qualifications, but he wrote an article that says what's going on in Footscray, and so his theory was it was actually. Did you end up reading it, Matty, or having a look at it?
Yes, yeah.
It's quite a forensic look at the way we play footy, a bit beyond my football education, Matty. But he basically said where we get hurt, Matty, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that we push forward as a forward line where we have the Vandermeers and the McNeils and the Wests, and we hunt the ball and we surge forward. And then he's basically his argument was when you play the better teams, they sweat on that area, win the ball back, and then slingshot it back through the back line and get easy goals. But also hope that the Bulldogs put pressure on the Bulldogs just to kick it forward, a chaos ball forward, and then basically man up on Darcy or Norton 3-1, and again sling the ball back in and cut through the back line. That was his sort of assessment of why we struggle against the good teams. I don't know, Matty, what's your view on that? And I'm sorry if I didn't explain that very well.
No, you explained it well.
No, we're hearing you, Paul. Yeah.
You explained it well. We play, traditionally, and back in your day, Doug, it was the defenders were arm on arm, shoulder to the back of your opponent. But times the structures change, and Bevo's a huge advocate of playing significantly in front of your forward. So the defenders basically play in layers, don't they? And last year, Paul, the Dogs were actually the number one ranked team for defence. In 2016, when Bevo initiated this structure, the players were like, how is this going to work? And Easton Woods said, actually, it worked wonders because they backed that system in, but it can only work if the ball use is good. And this year, when we've been put under pressure like you've described, we've uncharacteristically turned the ball over and you get exposed. So they've got to clean up. It's not necessarily the defence; it's the running out of defence, and then how the midfielders are using it, and can the pressure be held in the forward line when it comes in? If it slingshots out, you're in trouble. So there's those elements that we've been really good at historically. We've probably been exposed against some of the good teams this year. That is very, very fixable, in my view. And
how do we fix it, Matty? What sort of things could you articulate that? How do we fix it?
Well, it's better ball use and making sure that we're making the right option, so we're not putting the players under pressure to be then doing these chaos balls that is a 50-50. We've got to hit our targets, and we've seen recently like Williams, Dale, players who have been fantastic in that area. We have turned the ball over, and it's we've paid the ultimate price. I don't think that's going to continue. I feel that it's really a focus to be addressed, and if we can get that right, suddenly the narrative changes.
So, Matty, you're probably suggesting that that's something Bevo's going to be very, very much working on this week during the week with training, and some of those selection decisions I think are really indicating that he's looking at getting more clean players into the game with more effective disposal, so that we can, because what's been interesting in the last couple of weeks is Nordo Spawn's been through the roof, but with 2 losses. So you think if Nordo's kicking 5 or 4 goals that we're winning the game,
Yep.
But it hasn't been the case. So obviously there are some areas that we need to fix up. And it doesn't need to be a mercy dash. I think it means, like you said, I agree. I think there needs to be some minor changes. We've got the personnel to be able to hopefully pull that off. And I'm really interested to see what they do on the weekend against Essendon. But more importantly, I'm interested to see what they do against those 2 strong clubs in GWS and on the home turf too. Both of those games are at Marvel.
Well, before we do Dougie's tips on this, I just wanted to sort of say, because supporters and even the experts online, they've been saying the Dogs can't be a Contenders if we can't beat a top 8 team. We've played 9 games against the top 8, and we're 1-8.
What, 1-8, Matty? We're 1-8. But you know what? The last 2 weeks, I don't reckon we played anywhere near our best. We got beaten by 11 points. We only got beaten by 11 points. It's not like we got beaten by 10 goals and like that. Everyone's going, oh, you're not going any good against the sides that are above you. Well, we didn't play well. We're not playing well against these sides, and for whatever reason, they're maybe not allowing us or we're not stepping up. But we didn't get beaten by much. I think both games were 11 points, weren't they? Adelaide and
10 and 11 points. So what you're saying, Dougie, what you're saying is, despite us not playing well, we're still in the
hunt.
Yeah.
So we're not playing anywhere near our best, Paul. We're still in the hunt. So, people are going, oh, the Dogs are no good against sides above them. Well, we're not playing great. And we're still hanging, we're right around the mark.
We're right around the mark. And can I address the other 6 games that we've lost? Just have a listen to this for a second. Round 2 was against Collingwood. We lost by 6 points. Now, if you rewind back to that time, we didn't have, obviously, Law and Weightman and Jamal. They've been out the whole year. But Bont wasn't there either. And Jones. So that was that game. You put Bont in that game, we've got it. There was some dubious umpiring decisions. So let's scrap. Sometimes
fair call. Scrap Collingwood.
Yeah. That game was ours. The next game we got beaten by against Fremantle by 16 points over there. Again, we were missing those Super 5 players that I've mentioned, including the Bont. You're not telling me that couldn't be a different scenario.
And they're a good team. Obviously, they're a very good team. Beat Collingwood at MCG. Yeah.
And we played them on their home deck when they were flying. The next round, those players were missing again. But this is against Brisbane, the Premiers. We led by 40 points. So we were controlling.
In Adelaide,
we were controlling that game. Right, you're 7 goals up. We ended up going down to the right. Now, at that time, we had about 3 or 4 players who just come into the team and had played 2 or 3 games, the likes of Dolan and Hines. So really young sort of outfit, and we were just overcome in the end. I feel our team's matured, and with Bont back, there you are. Then we lost against the Suns by a kick. up in the positions. Same situation, missing those key players. The Cats, we got done by 2 goals and we had 10 more scoring shots. So you kick straight in that game.
At the Cattery?
At the Cattery. The Hawks got us. I felt that's a fair loss. We lost by 22 points. But again, you're not far off considering you weren't playing well. So they're our 7 games we've lost. It's a compelling argument to say with the right personnel or a slight switch, those results could be flipped.
But, Matty, can I add to that? I thought that Sydney win in Sydney was beating a top 8 team. They had Pampley back. They had Gilden. What's his name? Errol Gilden or whatever his name. They had him back in the team. I thought that was an incredible victory. So, Matty, you know what? You may have just turned me a little bit there, and you had yourself organised too, didn't you? That was a bit of an ambush.
Well, I let him into that, Paul. I actually let him into that, but we were right. We're not playing well, and we're getting beaten by 11 points. Everyone's potting us. And then Matty's
He's been doing his homework, Dougie, because I've been chatting with him all week about this, and he's gone home and done his homework, and he's come back and said, "Well, listen to this," and he's convinced me. I thought, maybe, okay.
I've been stewing on it all day, Paul. So I was ready for you.
Beautiful, mate.
I'm the converted. So, moving forward, we want to start with Essendon. Let's go, Matty. You
morals,
take over.
Paul. We're morals, mate. Paul, they're no good. They're no good, Essendon. Seriously, no, they're no good. They've got a lot of injuries. We all know that. No, they're not much chop, mate. We're morals to beat them. And you know what we want to do? We want to absolutely belt them. We want to belt them. We want to give them a real good touch-up. We get a bit of confidence, a bit of flair back into our play and belt them. That's what I would like to see them do. Give it to them.
Is there anything at all, Dougie? Because, you've got a wounded team here, who want to make a statement. They've got nothing to lose and throw it. Or, you say we want to belt them. Is there any risk at all that we're vulnerable, or you think we're going to smash them?
We'll smash them, matey. They're no good. Not being disrespectful to Essendon. They've got a lot of injuries. You guys know that. I know that. The football world know that. They're a very young side. We shop early, avoid the rush early. Mate, we'll kick a big score. It's at Marvel, isn't it? Is it Marvel?
Marvel. The last 5 games, Dougie, we played 4 games at Marvel and 1 at the MCG. So, we've got 10 wins on the board, 14 with a good percentage gets you into the finals. So we've got to win 4 out of the last 5 or potentially 5 if the results don't go our way. So you're giving us the first one here.
Matty, can I just jump in? Realistically, though, the only team we can really push out of the 8 is the Suns, isn't it, really? Everyone else is 2 games ahead of us, so, Matty.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like if we win 5 and the Hawks win 3, our percentage is better than them. Now let's say the Hawks win 2 and we win 4. Our percentage is better than them. So there's the Hawks, Fremantle, and the Suns are the ones we can get if the results go our way.
Which is better? Which is the weaker of the 2, though? Which has got more of a challenge in front of them?
Yeah, I think it's the Suns. I think you're right.
Well, the Suns play Lions this week, so let's put that down as a loss, even though they got their backsides kicked in Adelaide. We're even Stevens with a better percentage, right?
That's right.
Okay. Who we got next, Matty?
Okay, this is the big one. This is the Giants, isn't it? We're playing the Giants at Marvel. This is the only team we've beaten in the 8. So we need to beat them this time around because it will just set us up, all right, for the skating towards the finale. Can we beat the Giants, Doug?
We got the Giants. What do you think, Paul?
Well, they've got a new forward there that seems to be kicking goals, Matty. I don't know his name. They've got
Aaron Cadman from Darley.
Yeah,
he's a Darley boy.
They've had an up and down season, haven't they, Matty? They've sort of been out of it now. They're back in it.
They're scary.
It's always interesting playing Stringer against his old team, whether he plays well or not. They seem to tick boxes across the ground. They've got an All-Australian backman there. They've got Ash's All-Australian. It's going to be an interesting game of footy.
They're an awesome team, and they've got Hogan up forward. They've got our old mate in Toby Green. So they're a dangerous outfit. I'm worried about it, but, oh, my God, we'll be up and about if we can knock them over. Where do we win that game, Matty? Dougie, how do we beat those guys? It's just simple home ground advantage, or
maybe that midfield? Well, maybe the Bont and that get control of it. And mate, they're a good side, this mob. Paul. Maybe they're a very, very even side. Mate, we go in there half cooked and not at our best, we'll get touched up. We need to be right at our best, right on song. But you're right, Matty. They're a very, very good even base side. And Paul, you're right about that young kid Cadman. He's gone to another level. He just signed a 4-year deal. He played down here with Darley as well.
Wow. But look, if it can't, Matty, as they say, you're talking about old school. If they can't beat them, then they're not going to. They've got to beat them. If they can't beat them, they don't deserve to be there.
Exactly.
That's right. So I don't mind that at all. I don't mind that at all. It's a good test. If they can beat them, then I'm going to have a great deal of confidence.
Yeah, correct.
I'm going to share my confidence with Matty about how we go forward in the finals.
Yep.
So what are we going to do, Dougie? Are you going to put that as a win or not?
Yes.
Dougie?
That was Raylan yelling out, say yes.
Thanks, Rails. Good. Well, you've saved our season, Rails, because we needed that.
On the podium, we'd like to thank Rails for endorsing us back in.
What was that? Sack Butters? Yeah, we're already
round
spoken about that.
All right, so there we are. So we've got 2 wins on the board, the 2 necessary wins.
It's a tough game, Matty, that one against GWS.
All right, well, it's going to come right down to the wire, and the Bulldog DNA needs to be at its strongest. And you said at the gala, that was the talk, that was the feeling. This is our season, it's on the line. So, right, we've taken down the Bombers, we've taken down the Giants, Dougie says. Then we've got the Demons at the MCG, Doug.
Beat them. 4.
Yeah.
We'll get them. They'll be on their footy trip. They'll be ready to go on their footy trip, Melbourne. No, we'll get them, mate. We'll get them, Paul. Matty, they'll be ready to go.
There's 3. We've got 13 wins on the board.
And I think, Matty, can I jump in? I just think having a run on the G is good too. I mean, that's where you play some finals. Correct. I think it's great. There's nothing better than going to the G to watch the boys play. So I think that's a good opportunity for us to get out there on the G and play the perimeter of the G and go from there.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Good call, Paul.
So then it moves to the second last game. It is the mighty Eagles, Dougie, at Marvel.
Round 23, the Eagles. That Harley Reid, someone said 10 million. Who said that? Do you rate him, Paul? Do you rate Harley Reid?
He's precocious. I just don't like how precocious he is. He seems to. You talk about suspensions. He kicked someone in the leg 2 weeks ago and gets a fine. I mean, what's going on? I mean, that's insane. It's him versus the Bulldogs, I think, isn't it? Like it just seems like he's the only person in the team. But no, I'm not a big fan.
Let me tell you something about him, Paul. That kid Reid. I've made an assessment on him, Matty. I've made an assessment on him. The kid hates losing, and he does dumb things and stupid things in the heat of the battle. I've watched him do some really dumb things, and that's when the game was starting to go away from him. And that was early in the game, obviously, because they're struggling. But the kid hates losing. He wants to be a winner. And I just reckon he gets right on the edge. He's got brilliance, don't worry about that. But he gets right on the edge when the game's starting to slip away. You watch him, Paul, mark my words, he'll do a couple of dumb things when they're just starting to kick 2 or 3 real quick ones. Just watch. I like him, Paul. I'd like to see him in a red, white and blue jumper. But anyway. Would you, Paul?
So do we?
We'll take
I don't know. I'd like Butters. I'll take Butters over him.
All right, I'm with you too. We'll take Butters and we'll take Cadman. All right.
So who wins the game, Dougie?
Oh, Dogs and Morals. We'll beat them.
Love it. There it is. There's another win. So between you and Rails, we've got 4 wins on the board.
Eagles? Yeah, we'll beat them. We'll beat them. Thanks, Rail.
So it takes us to the final game of the season, and we may or may not have to win 5, but it's a team we'll come against a team that is going to be around our mark, and it's the Dockers at Marvel Stadium, round 24.
You know what, Paul, Matty? This could be the crunch game. Winner plays finals. And if that's the case, and it's at Marvel, we'll get them. We'll get them. Over there, I wouldn't be as keen. But here, Paul, I reckon, Matty. I reckon we'll get him. And I've got a gut feeling this is the game, the winner place finals. How's that?
I thought it was going to be I thought it was going to come down to this game the same, Dougie, but I was expecting Collingwood to beat them. So when they beat Collingwood, I changed my tune a little bit. Are these guys a serious premiership threat, Matty, you reckon? Do they tick a lot of boxes across the ground?
I'm not sure about that. The competition is that even, Paul. If you get your ducks in line and you have a bit of luck and you've got all your key personnel, you're a threat if you play well.
With a good game plan, obviously.
Good game plan, and the top 10 teams, and I'm including Sydney in that.
I was going to say Sydney are roaring up there.
You wouldn't want to be playing them if they crept in. They're a mathematical chance, highly unlikely. But you know what? Those top 10 teams, there's not much in it. So when you hear people saying, "Oh, they're not up to it," it's nonsense. Play for it.
I tell you what, Paul, you touching on the Dockers, the two big ruck with Jackson and I think it's Darcy. They go very well.
That's right.
And then Sarong and the boy Brayshaw, very, very good players. Again, Paul, I don't know enough about them. I'll be honest here. I don't know enough about the Dockers. But those four guys I just mentioned, you can build a team around them blokes. Make no mistake about it.
Because they play Jackson and the big fella really well because Jackson can move forward and be a really dangerous forward.
Yeah.
He's got his mobility. And the big boy just crunches and bashes and a bit of a Dempsey, a bit of an old school sort of ruckman, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
He packs a bit of weight. He's got a bit of size about him. But I think again, like you said, Matty, I think beating the Dockers is a really good sign for us to go into the finals with a huge amount of confidence.
Yeah, well, let's hope that happens. Dougie's got a big smile on his face.
Well, that's the one, Paul. That's the one, Paul.
Is that a win, Dougie, or not?
That's going to be the winner place finals.
That's music to my ears. I think it's going to be such a crescendo to what's been such an amazing season, a stressful season.
Yeah.
We've had the ups and downs. I think all clubs feel that. And if we're back in 5 weeks for our finals podcast, Doug, tell you what, it's going to be party time.
Are you saying this could be the final show of the year?
Well, if we get bundled out, see you guys in January.
There's no more. Back in January, Paul.
Well, this has been a fantastic episode. We've got one of the biggest champions of all time, the King of Footscray. He's in the top 5, and let's hope the Doggies get in the top 8. Dougie, Paul.
Well done, Dougie.
Go on, Paul. Go on, mate. Go on, Matty.
Red in my heart, white in my veins, blue in my eye, white and blue in my brain. I'm Bulldog born, Bulldog, that's my breed. I was born to follow where the Bulldogs lead. Let's start it.